Okay, so what I decided to do today was to just do a play by play of what happened when I decided to control my thoughts for a day. So I'm going to share my results with you. This video may be long for some of you, but I'm going to go as fast as I can. Um, so let's start. So the day before, I decided to set my intentions that night, saying the very next morning, my focus will be on me. My priority is how I feel. Regardless of what I'm doing, I want to make sure that I am in tune with how I feel and that it is a good feeling. And also, when those bad thoughts do come into play, I will have good thoughts ready to replace those bad thoughts. So, meaning that there's certain things that um, make me feel really good when I think about them. And so those are my thoughts. That's my go-to thought. That's what I call it. So the next morning, before I got out of bed, I gave gratitude, all the things I'm thankful for, and I began to speak into my day what it is that I desire. And what I desire was to walk with God and allow Him to show me all these wonderful things and just feel good about me, just being me today. That was my thought. So, what happened? Okay, so let's see. So, the very first thing that happened was 20 bucks. So, I'm getting dressed and listening to Pandora comedy, which it keeps me in a really good mood, keeps me laughing, keeps me in good spirits. So I listen to that as I'm getting dressed. And for some reason, right before I left, I moved a travel bag out the way. And I had just emptied this bag. This bag was empty, and for whatever reason, I opened it, I unzipped it, and there was $20 in there, just like sitting right there. And I was extremely thankful. And I was like, wow, I was really surprised because I knew I had just emptied this bag. It was completely empty. But it also was the second time this week that happened where I found money in an empty bag. So that started my day. So I was already 20 bucks ahead. Okay. Uh oh. So then, oh, okay. So then the next thing was I thought about these two products that I really wanted, and I wanted to try them, and I wanted to, but I only could find them online. And I was okay with getting them online, but while I was out, I was actually led to go into a clothing store. And once I got in the store, I was in there maybe 1 minute, two max. And I was like, I don't, not really looking for anything. I just was like, it just didn't feel right. I was like, I'm not even in here for anything. I don't even know why I'm in here. It's a clothing store. I wasn't looking for any clothes. And so I'm getting ready to leave out. And as I turn, I see all these products in this little tiny area. And I'm looking on the shelf. I'm just kind of looking, but my thought is I'm getting ready to leave any second. And so when I look, one of the products that I wanted to try was sitting like right in front of me. And it was almost like angelic, like, oh, one of those moments. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I thought I had to get this online. And it was the absolute only one. I don't know if y'all can see my picture. Only one. Because I looked and I would have purchased all of them. And I thought, this is so awesome. And I got it. And it was at a much lower price. And I'm like, this is so cool. So then I thought, well, maybe the other product is here, right? You know? And so I looked on the opposite side of the shelf, and what I was looking for, there was only one ingredient. And when I looked, I saw the name and I was like, and then I looked and it was like 2 ingredients. And I'm like, and I looked on the shelf and I'm like, wait a minute. Because I'm thinking maybe this isn't it. And I'm like, no, this is it. This is the only one here. This is meant for me. It just means I need these 2 ingredients. So I thought I just needed the one. So it was perfect. So I got both products. I did not have to purchase them online. They were a lot cheaper. And so then the finale of this being in the store. So I'm like, I'm really happy. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I don't know if I was talking or not, but I was just so happy. Like I wondered for a second if anybody was looking at me because that's how happy I was. But thank God I had my earbuds in and, people just thought I was really happy listening to something through my earbuds. And so at that moment, here I am with the 2 products that I'm ecstatic about. And a thought came in my head like super, super quick. It was super quick. And the thought was, your throw blanket. You wanted the throw blanket. And it was so quick, but I caught it because I'm on this wave, right? I'm on this wave. I'm riding high. I'm like, oh, that's right. I want that blanket. And quickly, the background to this blanket is I spoke into saying, what did I spoke, I would love to find this blanket for $5 or $6. And this type of blanket, it's unheard of to get it for $5 or $6. You couldn't even get it as a bath mat for $5 or $6. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's what, and I, sometimes I'll speak the impossible just so that I can see that it is possible. So I walked and I'm looking around like, could it be in the store? So I walked around, I didn't see any blankets. And as I was leaving out, I walked maybe like 2 more aisles of the main aisle, and right on the end were blankets. It was maybe like 30 blankets. And I was like, oh, but I didn't really feel enthused about it. I was just like, oh, okay, well, let's just take a look. And I'm like, oh, some of these are like, these are the soft ones. And I'm looking at the price and I'm like, oh, doesn't say $5 or $6. They're reasonable, but I'm still looking. And then I saw one I liked. So I picked it up and there were only 3 of these, right? In this color. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. And so I put it back down. And when I put it back down to leave, but the fact that there were 3 and for some reason, and we know what that reason is, I picked up another one, the exact same blanket. I just picked up a different one. And when I picked it up, I wish I had recorded this moment because it's a blanket, but it makes me tearful because when I picked up this blanket, and some of you will never ever believe it, but I don't care. My responsibility is to tell you what happened. And what happened was I picked this blanket up. And when I picked it up, it had a clearance tag on it, a little clearance, little sticker, and it said $6. Now, it was the exact one that I had just picked up prior, but when I picked the other one up, it said $6. And even now, I'm like, I picked it up and I actually put the blanket to my eyeballs, like right to my eyeballs with my glasses on because I'm like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? These blankets, never. And it's the only one. All the rest of them were regular price. This was not a clearance rack. This was not a sale rack. And it was the exact blanket as the other 2. And it was $6, y'all. And I said, oh my gosh, like I was just I mean, I'm used to amazing things happening. It was just something about that blanket. Like, I was just floored. I took the blanket and I got my things, and I was excited. Um, so then there were several other things that happened throughout the day, but just to kind of just for the length of the video. So another thing happened. I went to get. This is funny, and there's a reason why I'm going to share this too. I went to get some dinner. I'm sorry. Yeah, I went to get some raw sugar, and I thought about getting some dinner while I was at this grocery store. So I went to get, and every time I go to a grocery store, I always go to look at the bakery. I just love dessert, so that's just what I do. So I went and I saw two of my favorite cupcakes, and they had them together, and I'm like, shut up. And it was the only one, the absolute only one that they had in two. We all know that they always sell them in fours, and sometimes you can find stuff in twos, but to find your absolute favorites in twos, and then it was the only one, and on top of it, it had a sale price. And I'm like, they had a sale price on cupcakes. Like, wow. So I was like, okay. So I'm like, I'm getting these, even though I already had got a donut. I was like, I'm getting these cupcakes because they're there, they're for me, and I love these. The vanilla bean, and it was another flavor. And so I looked down, and when I looked down, I saw a mocha cake, and I have been craving a mocha cake. I usually get these vegan mocha cakes, and they don't sell them by me anymore, and I always had to go across the bridge and blah blah blah. So I'm at a different type of store, and they have mocha cake. So I'm like, no, that's just being just greedy. I'm not gonna get a donut and a cupcake with a cake. So I'm gonna tell you why I'm telling you this. So I go back. I'm like, nope, I'm not getting it. And so I walk back, get the raw sugar, which is several aisles over. I was able to pay for it right there, but instead, I decided I'm gonna walk all the way back and look at this cake again. So I go and I got the cake, y'all. I felt like this was one of those times where I was giving everything I wanted, and it was just a matter of deciding if that's what I wanted. You know what I mean? So that was the purpose of me telling you that. It's like, I can have this and I can have this. I can have both if that's what I choose. They're being given to me. So I did put the cupcakes back, and I got the mocha cake, which was on sale too. So then I want to share this with you. I have been talking to God about something that has just really been on my heart, and I've been waiting for that moment to take action on it. I mean, I was like in like one of them stands, like, I'm ready to go. Okay, 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 okay. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, and I'm just ready to do this. And I was in that I was inspired to take action at a moment where I was in complete chill mode, wasn't thinking about it, and I felt like I was just lifted up and was like, okay, go ahead, you can go and do this thing now. And I was in the process of taking action for several minutes or longer before I realized, hey, I'm actually taking action on this. And I got excited because I know that what I desire, it's right there. So I will update you on that. I'm almost at the end, just two more. Um, so this is really important here because I was listening to comedy and I was laughing, and I had just had two slices of this mocha cake. So I was feeling good, belly good, feeling good, and the whole thing. And all of a sudden, I get this text message. And when I got this text message, where's my phone? Oh, I'm using it. I can't show you. So I I saw that the person that was texting me, and I thought, this person doesn't reach out to me. I don't talk to this person like that. So when I saw it, I immediately, okay, great. I immediately knew that this was a good sign. Alrighty. I'm just having I am not editing this either. I think we need to see the real deal here, right? So, anyway, so I when I saw that this person had texted me, I thought, wow, this is a good sign. This means that this person actually has something to say, and that's going to lead me to something that I desire. This is a sign. And another thing is, this person texted me one time this year, one time. And when I looked on my phone, I realized the time that they texted me before that was Christmas of last year. So this was an obvious sign coming from this person. I didn't even read the text and I knew it. So when I did read it, they asked me a very, very specific question about something. And when they text me that, it totally, I can't really explain the emotion right now, but I will say that it was something very specific, and it also was something that I have been talking to God about, something that I wanted. So I will update you on that as well. So now we're coming to the very end. One thing, just not to use a lot of time with this, but there were bad thoughts that came throughout the day, of things that this person did to me and that person hurt me, and things like that. And those thoughts did come, but there were not a lot of them. They were very, very minimal. And I already had a thought to replace that thought. Remember, we talked about that up there. So I had a thought to replace that bad thought. And I also said, when I had that thought, those thoughts, hey, that thought no longer benefits me. That's how I felt at that time. That's not how I feel today. I feel amazing today. That thought does not benefit me. And I moved on, and it probably was late into the evening before the second thought came, that another bad thought came into my mind. And again, I just removed that with a good thought, said it was no benefit to me. And then sometimes if it gets really bad, then sometimes you have to think of something good from that, that happened from that person or that event or something like that. So here we are at the end of the night. I gave gratitude, and I fell asleep thinking about how I made myself a priority for the day. And then I want to just say that now it is your turn to do the same thing. I really hope that this kind of gave you some insight. I'm sure there are a lot of other things that happened that I didn't even realize because there was so much. But I wanted to share what my day looked like when I control my thoughts, and all these wonderful things happened to me.